In this Monday night matchup between the Titans and the Bills, who do you think is going to get the dub and why?
Dude, it's Buffalo all day. If the Tennessee Titans struggled against the Giants, no disrespect to the Giants because they're 2-0, but the Giants are levels beneath the Bills in terms of power and offensive capability. And obviously that Bills defense showed up last week against probably one of the better teams in the league in the Rams. And they've had a couple of extra days rest because they played the first game of the year on a Thursday, so they're very well rested and prepared for this opportunity. And I think that, maybe they let Derrick Henry do his thing, but I can't trust Ryan Tannehill. I don't really care what other people say. I know that he was able to lead this team to an AFC Championship appearance a few years back, but I don't trust him. And obviously, when you're going up against, in my opinion, the best team in the league, it's not going to be close. Hopefully, they're going to end up being 0-2 because I am a Colts fan, and even though we are an embarrassment to the NFL, we do need our division rivals to lose. So I think the score probably is anywhere from 35-21. Maybe if Derrick Henry goes for like a $150 or something like that, maybe it's a lot closer. But I think Josh Allen completely torches the secondary, and I think that Devin Singletary has his first 100-yard game of the season. I truly believe that Buffalo is going to run through a lot of these teams, and it's going to be quite the shit show for a lot of defensive coordinators.
I mean, Kevin, I'm in full agreement with you on this one. I think Buffalo's going to get the win on Monday night against Tennessee. When I look at what they did to the Rams in week 1 in the season opener, I mean, they effectively shut down one of the best teams, not only in the NFC, but in the NFL, and completely played spoiler in the Rams, going into week 1 and celebrating the Super Bowl championship from last year. I mean, and it effectively spanked them on top of that, too. And it kind of goes to show why the Bills are probably the best team in the NFL at this current moment in time. I mean, when I look at this matchup specifically, I just love the fact that Josh Allen's off to an amazing start, not only with his connection with Stephon Diggs, but continuing the growing relationship with Gabriel Davis, because Gabriel Davis really, since the playoffs last year, especially against that, especially in KC last year, where he just absolutely dominated in every way, shape, or form, it really seems like he has slid in very nice into that number 2 spot behind Stephon Diggs in the wide receiving core. It just overall, that offense is just humming at every level imaginable. And Kevin, I'm going to slightly disagree with you on who I think is going to be the lead rusher for Buffalo. I actually think it is going to be Josh Allen once again, simply just because they're just going to use him effectively as much as possible. And whenever he gets out into open space, he is not an easy guy to bring down. The guy is like 6'4", 6'5", is probably upwards of like 230, 240 pounds. And, when he gets out into open space, he could definitely make some plays. And he's definitely shown that in the past and continues to show it once again. And I know that the Buffaloes tried to make a bigger emphasis on running the football more effectively with the running backs that they have at their disposal. But I think sometimes Josh is going to take it into his own hands and make the most of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up, getting somewhere around 50 to 75 yards rushing and ends up being the leading rusher when it's all said and done. But when it comes to their defense, I mean, their defense is top notch. I mean, they have some of the best secondary pieces that you can think of with Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Obviously, Von Miller and their pass rush is extremely effective. It's just their defense, I mean, at every single level is very scary to deal with. It's very scary to deal with, I should say. And I think that they're actually going to do a pretty good job in containing Derrick Henry in this upcoming matchup. When I look at Tennessee, Tennessee is coming off of a tough loss to the Giants last week. I'm just not really sold on this offense being as prolific as they once were. It's just Ryan Tannehill doesn't really instill confidence in me, just because of that really weak performance that he had last week. And then that was coming off of the heels of a really weak performance in the playoffs last year against the Bengals. I think the only thing that's going to make the Titans viable this year is if that Ryan Tannehill doesn't screw it up for them, and that Derrick Henry goes off for 125 to 175 yards a game. I think that's really their only way that they're going to be able to win moving forward, and then maybe some solid defensive performances. But in this game specifically, I think Buffalo wins this one pretty handily. I think if I had to put a score on it, I think Buffalo's going to win this one like 34-21. I do believe that it is going to be a 2-possession game when it's all said and done. And I'm just rolling with the hot hand right now. Buffalo seems to be the team to beat right now after that drubbing that they put on the Rams in week 1. And I think that same type of game style goes into week 2. And I think that they handily beat the Titans on Monday Night Football.